We learned last week that the city of Albuquerque fell victim to a scam that caused $420,000 to go to a fake construction contractor. Now, earlier that week, the state auditor issued a warning to local governments after an elementary school in Socorro was built out of $200,000. Andy, reporting on the story, KOB said they had warned the city of this kind of thing and that the city was just sort of like, yeah, you know, we get it. Just one of those things. There was a mass transit project in El Paso that was victimized to this as well. You know, this is the world we live in. Scammers is a real thing. The answer's self-evident here, but were we prepared for this? Are we prepared now? Is this a wake-up call?
I think that it's difficult to take that information and pass it down, disseminate it down to the lower level people who may be just getting those invoices.
Right.
It's definitely a training issue.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're only going to be fully trained now that it's happened. Hopefully, they're trained.
Right. You know, Sophie, mentioning our state auditor issuing a warning, that's a good point Andy makes, though. Any complicated environment, there's layers down, and not everybody, the supervisor may get the notice, but
and may bring it up in a meeting, but they
right.
haven't fully developed a policy around
That's right.
it. It just sort of reminds me of we have this. I think everybody has sort of an involuntary reaction to the word audit, right. but the truth is that in most non-IRS or tax and rev contexts, the work of the audit is to try to identify weaknesses in the system that could lead to this sort of situation. And your auditor, I'm actually my organization's in the middle of being audited right now. Your auditor can be your best friend in the sense that
attitude. I like
that person or that group is testing your systems to see where could money leak out, where could there be issues? And so this is an excellent example of, I think, the complexity of audit and financial controls within a governmental entity. I do feel that at the point that the employee was told to send the funds to Nigeria, that should have been, that is totally a joke, that should have been tip off. But until it happens, scammers are extraordinarily resourceful. We know this from the phone calls that our parents get, to the emails that we should or should not open, to, the warnings that we get from our own banks. We will never call you. We will only send you mail. We all are subject to this kind of approach, and it's unfortunate that it happened to the city, but it is a good reminder that that there's a lot of creativity out there.
Yeah, there is.
Remain vigilant.
And they take advantage of confusion in confusing times, meaning when there's a lot of checks going out the door, when your city's got a lot of projects going on, Janice Arnold-Jones, it's easy to say, I'm XYZ contractor. I know this is a pain in the neck. Could you please send it over here instead of over here? I'll make your life easier. You know what I'm saying? It's just easy to get away when it's busy like that.
Well, especially if your policies and your processes are not kind of written in stone.
Right.
So I would propose, in this case, like two-factor authentication. We're all familiar with that.
Right.
Was there two-factor validation? Was there a $10,000 threshold? What I don't know about this money is, did it happen in one big transfer, or was it a series of smaller transfers? And the smaller transfers make you cumulatively much more vulnerable if your processes are not intact.
Right.
And so lots of questions here, but it really gets down to process, communication, process,
Right.
communication.
That's a good point. A lot of folks, I think, Dan, are shocked by the sheer amount that checks like this are going out the door to vendors. Well, yeah, it happens that way, actually, in these amounts all the time. So one can see how the poor person, whoever electronically transferred those funds could feel like, well, it's no big deal here. But at the same time, we should be shocked, shouldn't we? That's a lot of money. That's got to come out of somewhere. Taxpayers have to pay to make up that somehow, don't they?
I'm certain that the mayor and city councilors are going to want to take a close look at this and determine whether there are ways to ensure it doesn't happen again. Whether it's a problem with training or a particular policy or something else. It is surprising probably to your average person, but a local government like Albuquerque handles perhaps $1 billion in a year.
Right. That's right.
So 420,000 might not be an unusual amount to make a payment to somebody.
That's right. Andy, the big question now is whether insurance will actually cover this or not. And the city is saying we have third-party cybercrime insurance. They're looking at they're self-insured, of course, as Rob Perry keeps saying. What if it doesn't come through, though? What if the insurance folks find out, hey, you guys are all at fault here. What
Yeah,
happens then?
That's a good question, and I think an important one for the people of Albuquerque to kind of ask. What happens? Are we just going to have to write that off? I mean,
Right.
how much is $400,000 in the big scheme of things? But yeah, I would question what kind of insurance they do have, and if they were very quick to say insurance will cover this, and we're confident they'll cover it, but I don't know what insurance plan they have for this.
That's a good point. I'm not even sure myself, Sophie, what third-party cybercrime insurance even means, honestly. I can figure it out. It's a third party, and they cover cybercrime. But what are they actually covering? Everything that happens with cybercrime? Do you know what I mean?
It's a
That's
good
interesting.
question. The word
Yeah.
cyber was used, and so therefore,
Right.
I mean, the insurance company. I don't think this will surprise you, but no insurance company is like, "Hey, let's do a payout."
That's right.
So, I mean, I think we're going to see investigation not just from the city, but also from that insurance company. And if there is a denial, what the city has said is, we are self-insured. Essentially, we've got it covered. Now, it's not uncommon for very large entities to self-insure. It's not something most of us think about unless we are self-insuring for our own health care, something like that. But to a certain extent, cities and other large entities, it's not that they expect or want something like this, but they are typically prepared to make payouts for issues like this, and payouts to themselves.
You know what, Janice, I was in the construction business some years ago. We used to have a saying, all the great lessons of construction must cost money. Because you will not learn that lesson unless you have to write a check to fix it. Do you know what I mean? I think we're in that situation here. We're going to write a big check and just have to fix this.
I agree with you, and,
Yeah.
and we're not hearing any discussion about recovery.
Right.
And,
you.
and so one, I think that is something that has to be done. But this is, I'm putting you on notice. Like if you've sold something on Craigslist, it says in big warnings, don't take a cashier's check, don't do this, because if it goes in your bank, you will pay. And same warning here is that, and so processes have to evolve. There has to be training. And the one thing that all of our government entities are short on is training of their folks. And they really shortchange the very asset that they need the most, and that's
That's
their
right.
people.
Professional training, budgets. That's right. It's important. Thank you, guys. Important subjects. Appreciate it.